Hello, good evening everyone. So today we'll discuss the topic about collection of data from Business Statistics 1 for BCom students, and it will be helpful for the BBA as well. So here collection of data. So before that we need to understand what is data. What is data? Data means it is an information. Data means it is a information where the data will be collected. It is one of the critical step in the it is one of the critical step for statistical analysis, to do the statistical analysis, and the data, whatever the information which we will collect, it will be collected through the internal records or primary or secondary sources. So in this collection of data, simple remember that data means it is an information where we will collect the information for using the statistical analysis and for interpreting the data, interpreting the information. Either we will be getting profits or losses. For example, if you are taking of a particular organization, so how will be getting to know, how will be going to interpret, or how will be going to analysis whether the organization is in profit or loss based on the numbers, based on the profit ratio which they are having. So in that, whatever the information which we will collect, that will be giving analysis and interpretation will be done through the these methods, it will be having either the primary source or secondary sources. So in this we'll be having internal data. What is internal data? It refers to the data available from records kept by an organization on a routine basis. Internal data means the organization will keep the information, it will maintain the lot of records for only internal purpose. Within the organization only the data will be given. Whereas coming to primary data means it refers to the data which will be collected for the first time, and the data will be having in a original in character, that is called as a primary data. Primary data means the data which we will be collecting for the first time, and it will be having in a original in a character. It will be having in a original in character. So maybe we can take the example for the primary data is government officials, like government individuals, government institutions will be there, no, government institutions, research bodies, these are all the examples of primary data. That means the data which we will be collecting for the first time, and it will be having in original in character, the data which we will be having for the first time. This kind of primary data will not be existing before any kind of in the any kind of websites or published or unpublished sources will not find this primary data. For best example is government institutions, research bodies, etc. So I can take the example for this primary data is the data which we will be collecting for the first time. That means for example, I wanted to know the information regarding the agriculture land of so and so people in so and so village. So what I am doing here, I am collecting the data for the first time to the agriculture persons, like those people are called as respondents. So what I am doing here, I am collecting the information from the agriculture farmers for the first time. The data which is not existed previously, that data is called as a primary data. Is it clear? So examples are government institutions, research bodies. I hope it is clear. And these primary data are very essential for the statistical methods, and which will be applied for the analysis and interpretation of data. With this primary data, we can easily analysis and interpret the data. Is it clear? So simple, primary data refers to the data which will be collected for the first time, and it will be having an original in character. The data which will not be existed previously, we will be collecting for the first time. That data is called as a primary data. Exactly, primary means first. Simple, primary means first. Okay. Whereas coming to secondary data means the data which is not collected originally. The data which is not collected originally, that means it will be having the data which will be previously existed in published or unpublished sources, that is called as secondary data. The data which is already existed is called as a secondary data. For example, best example will be having like websites, Google, or some kind of published sources like books, or some kind of official publications like WHO publications will be there, UNO publications will be there, government official publications will be there. Those are all comes under secondary data, because already the data which will be collected by someone and they are publishing to the third parties, that is called as a secondary data. That means Secondary data means it is not collected originally, it is not collected for the first time. It is not collected for the first time. The data which is already existed either in published or unpublished sources is called as a secondary data. This data will not be in raw, and this data will not be in having a original in character. That is called as a secondary data. That means the secondary data means it will be collected and processed by some other agencies or some other institutions, or some other statistical work will be done with this secondary data. Okay, so in this what happening, already existed data we are collecting. Already existed data we are collecting. That data is called as a secondary data. For example, if you wanted to go with the example for the secondary data means, for example here, for example, a teacher has assigned project. Okay, a teacher has assigned project work to the students in order to collect the information regarding the corona outburst, how many has dead, how many has been affected by the disease. So what happening here, how the students will be coming to know about the data? Because what he'll do here, he will be collect the information from the published or unpublished sources. He'll not go with the primary data, he'll go with the secondary data. Because in Google, if you type, you'll be having all the information, how many people have been affected, how many people have been died in corona. So what happening here, the data which is already there in Google or some other kind of WHO, World Health Organization, official, what we can say, publications. So with that we are getting the information how many has been died and how many has been affected from the corona disease. So that is called as a secondary data. That means the data which is already existed in published or unpublished sources, that data we are going to collect is called as secondary data. I hope you are clear with these 2 points, primary data and secondary data. Just primary data means we are collecting the data for the first time, it will be having an original in character. Whereas coming to secondary data, the data which is already existed and the data which we will collect is called as secondary data. Is that clear? So these are the two methods of collection of data. So in this we will be having methods of collecting primary data and methods of collecting secondary data. So methods of collecting primary data will have 5 different kinds of methods. It is very interesting. Simply I will be giving with the examples, you will be understanding very well. Okay, you know very well about the primary data, like it is a first time collection of data and it is in original in character. So in this we will be having 5 different types of methods, that is direct personal interview, indirect oral investigation, information received through local agents, and mailed questionnaire methods, scheduled sent through enumerators. Whereas coming to methods of collecting secondary data, you will be having 2 types, only published sources and unpublished sources. So here in direct personal interviews, what do you mean by direct personal interviews? Direct personal interview they are saying, no. So what do you mean by direct personal interview? Personal interview he is saying, personal interview, that means where, but in this particular method the investigator collects information. Investigator means the person who wants to collect the information is called as investigator. First you need to know the differences, the terminology regarding these collection of data. You will be having investigators, informants, enumerators, respondents. I'll be giving all those clear explanation regarding data. So in these direct personal interviews, under this method, the investigator means, what did I said, the person who collects the information. Okay, the investigator collects information personally from the persons, like whom he wanted to get the information. For example, A and B. Okay, A is the investigator, he wants to get the information regarding what we can say agriculture land, okay, the cultivation and the crops, what they are doing. So this person, A person, is the investigator. This A person is called as a investigator, and B person is called as a respondent. What it is called as a respondent. So direct personal interviews means where the investigator will meet a respondent personally and he'll be asking a few questions regarding to the particular interview, like what he wanted to get the information from the respondent, he will collect the information. and he'll prepare some list of questions what he wanted to ask to the respondent, and he will be asking the questions and the respondent will be answering to that questions. This kind of method is called as a direct personal interview. It is simple, right? Direct personal interview means where the investigator will meet personally to the respondent and he'll get the information what he requires. He'll prepare list of questions pertaining to that particular interview, and he'll be asking that questions. He'll prepare the survey and he'll be collecting the information, whatever the information which he required from the respondent. Is it clear? And in this particular direct personal interview, one should have one should have, that means the investigator should have a keen observation, and he should be polite, he should not be angry, and he should not be tensed. He should not show that kind of facial expressions which will be weird. He should be polite, he should be handling the situations carefully, and he should be asking the questions to the respondent in a smooth and tactful way. He should be very courageous regarding the questions what he is going to ask. Is it clear? So in this particular direct personal interview method, the questions should be prepared by the investigator in a simple manner, in a simple and easy language. One should be get that particular language easily, and the answer should be precise and correct way. He should be asking the questions to the respondent. Like, it should be simple and it should not be prolonging the questions. It should be easy and in a simple language one can understand easily. So that method is called as direct personal interview. I hope you are clear with this direct personal interview. That means simple, where the investigator will meet personally to the respondent and he'll be asking some questions related to the interview, related to the what we can say survey, and he'll be preparing list of questions in a simple and easy language one can understand easily, and he should be very courteous and tactful. He should be having that kind of capabilities in him to get the answers from the respondents. That's it. Whereas coming to indirect oral investigation means indirect, they are saying. That means the investigator will not takes place in this indirect oral investigation method. What he'll do, the investigator will appoint some kind of enumerators. What he'll do, ma'am? He will appoint enumerators. Enumerators are the person same these people will be working on the some people will be working on the commission basis or some kind of salary basis. They will be working sometimes, or else sometimes they will be doing the work without expecting any kind of thing. So what happening here, indirect oral investigation means here the investigator will not have any contact with the respondent. That means A will not have any kind of contact with the respondent. He doesn't know who is the respondent, he doesn't know who is the investigator. What he'll do, A will appoint C as an enumerator, and C will go to the respondent and he will collect the information on behalf of the investigator. That is called as indirect oral investigation. I hope it is clear. I'll repeat one more time. Indirect oral investigation means the investigator will appoint some enumerators. Enumerators are the person who are going to collect the information on behalf of the investigator. So he will collect the information from the respondents and he will give back that responses to the investigator in such a way that it should be having without any difficulties. Is it clear? So these kind of methods will be mostly, it is having this kind of method is in complex in nature, because one cannot willing to give the information. Like we can say the examples for this indirect oral investigation is, we can say evils such as drinking, gambling, smoking will be there, no? Like such kind of particular what we can say particular cases, we will use this indirect oral investigation method. This can be used mostly in the case of inquiry commissions. Generally we'll see in that inquiry commissions, in the police stations mostly we'll see. Okay, so this kind of method will be helpful for the indirect oral investigation. This is one of the most popular method, and it will be having the success rate based on the enumerator only, because enumerator should be very skilled and he should be having the tactful nature in him in order to get the information from the respondents, or in order to, sometimes the witnesses will be there. See, for example, we recently got the one movie like court movie like Priyadarshi, that two minors will be minors and majors they will become majors after some few days. So what happening there, they will ask indirect oral investigation, they will be appointing some kind of enumerators, and they'll be getting to know, like simply we can say, like in court we'll be finding that witness persons will be finding, no, so from that they will be collect the information through the enumerators only. Okay, so this enumerator should be trained very nicely, and they should be they should be easily adapting to the according to the situations, and they will be collecting the information, and they will be giving that information to the investigators. That method is called as a indirect oral investigation. Okay, whereas coming to information received through local agents, in this also the investigator will appoint, who will appoint, the investigator, the person who wants to get the information will appoint some local agents. These local agents are known as correspondents. What do we call them? Correspondents. That means the investigator, for example, he is the investigator here, so he will appoint some local agents. That means local agents means the persons who are living in that particular locality for a longer period of time. So from that they will be appointing one particular person, and they will be getting the information whatever he requires. So what happens here, the correspondents will collect the information, and they will be giving that information through the particular central office or some kind of investigators. This kind of method will be helpful for the, mostly we can see this kind of method will be having in newspapers, like television channels, like TV channels will be there, like where the anchor will be appointing from, like if we take the TV9 as a example, TV9 will be having one branch, right? Branch offices will be there for the TV9. So what happens there, they will be appointing local agents or correspondents. That means, for example, TV9 is having one branch, okay, in Hyderabad it is having, or in Delhi, like in that different kinds of states and districts it is having. So what happening here, in this particular Hyderabad, one correspondent will be appointed in order to get the information what is taking place in the Hyderabad, how much of rains is falling, how much of summer heat is there, like what are the fights between political parties. All those information what is happening in the Hyderabad will be getting to know through this correspondent to the television channel, and that will be that will be given to the general public through the telecast. Yes or no? So if that particular person correspondent is having in Delhi, that means that a particular correspondent who is staying in Delhi will give the information to the central office in order to telecast. Yes or no? So from the different particular areas, the information will be received through these local agents or correspondents, and it will be sent to the central office. For the newspapers also will be having mostly that kind of things only, no? So this will be having in that particular example, we can say best example as that. Is that clear? Whereas coming to mailed questionnaire method, mailed questionnaire method means, here in this mailed questionnaire method, like the investigator who wants to get the information from the respondents, he'll prepare list of questions. A list of questions will be prepared in and this list of questions will be sent to the informants by post. In this particular mailed questionnaire method, the informants will be appointed, like you will be having, the person is same, he will be doing the work like enumerator, correspondent, informants. These are all the different names for the particular person. All those persons will be doing the same work actually. So in this mailed questionnaire method, he'll prepare list of questions. Who will prepare? The investigator will prepare list of questions, and he will be send that list of questions to the informants through post. What he'll do? Through post he will send. To whom he will send the informant? He'll send it to the respondents from whom he wanted to get the information regarding to the field of inquiry. So here what happens, he'll prepare list of questions, no, and he'll be giving blanks. For example, I wanted to get the information, the investigator wants to get the information related to the agriculture land. For example, how many acres of land do you have, what are the cultivation you are doing at present. So he'll be giving some blank space also, question he'll be giving, and he'll be giving blank space in order to fill by the respondent. Is that clear? So the aims and objectives of collecting information should be clearly mentioned to the respondent. So here what happens, this method will be applicable only when the respondent is literate. That means then only he can fill this particular questionnaire, right? So this kind of thing will be there, and it should be having the respondents should be having confident, and they should be very they should be keeping the information whatever they have filled, that should be kept confidentially. That means it should not reveal that information to the other persons. Is it clear? And it should be having quick and better responses. After filling that particular questionnaire, you should send that particular questionnaire, mailed questionnaire, through the post to particular informant or investigator, back to that particular address. This kind of method will be used by mostly research scholars and non-government officials. Even sometimes government also will be using this kind of information, and this method is one of the less expensive method, and it should be collecting the information from wherever we want. We can be collecting. It is not having geographical barriers will not be there in a mailed questionnaire method. Easily we can collect the information wherever the respondents are there. Is it clear? This is all about a mailed questionnaire method. This method are not applicable to the illiterate. It will be applicable to the literate people. Clear? Whereas coming to last one, schedule sent through enumerators. So I said no, where this enumerators are appointed. So same, enumerators, informants, in like correspondence, local agents, these are all one and the same. So in this schedule sent through enumerators, what will be having under this method, the enumerators go to the informants. That means informants means the persons who will be having giving the answers. So here the enumerators will go to the informants along with the questionnaire. Like in this, what they'll do, they'll prepare the questionnaire, and informant will be sending to the post, right, through post, and the respondent will be filling that questionnaire, and he'll be sending back to the informants or investigator. But in this method, schedule sent through enumerator, what he'll do, along with the enumerator, he'll go along with the informant, he'll go with the questionnaire, and he'll be getting the replies to the questions contained in the schedule. That means whatever the questions which he has prepared, that questionnaire he will be carrying, who the enumerator will carry. And what he'll do, this method is applicable to the illiterate mostly, because the persons who are illiterate, they cannot read or write, right? So the enumerators are appointed for this particular thing, and the enumerators will read that particular questions to the respondents who are having illiterate, and whatever the answers which they'll see, the enumerators will fill by their own handwriting. Is that clear? So here the schedule sent through enumerators method is having for only for the particular illiterate people. Mostly it will be having for the illiterate people, where the particular person is not able to fill the questionnaire. Is that clear? Mostly illiterate persons. For example, if you go to village, okay, so some grandmothers, grandfathers will be there in that. So if they are not illiterate, what we'll do, obviously the respondents are illiterate, means we will be appointing some enumerators, and we'll be reading the question. We need to first talk to them politely, and we should ask regarding why we came, what is the purpose of collecting the information, everything we should say. If we go directly and if we ask the information, no one will say yes or no, so they'll be scolding us, and they'll be sending back. So we need to give the particular information regarding why we are collecting the information, everything we need to make them clear. So these enumerators are trained very well, okay, in order to tackle that particular persons. So the enumerator should read the questions, and whatever the questions which they are reading, the respondents will give the answers, right? That answer should be filled by the enumerators. Is that clear? And the enumerator should explain aims and objectives of the investigation, why they are doing this kind of why they are collecting the information. Is it clear? So, and this kind of method is quite expensive, and this method is useful for the government and research institutions, we can take this particular schedules and through enumerators as example of collecting the population survey. Like almost all the particular families will not be educated, right? So we can take that as an example, schedule sent through enumerators. I hope methods of collecting primary data is clear for you. Yes. Whereas coming to methods of collecting secondary data, in this you will be having published and unpublished sources. So simple. Secondary data means what I said, the data which is already existed either in the form of published sources or unpublished sources, that is called as secondary data. So in this published sources, published means the data which is published through the official publications, like we'll be having IMF, World Bank, UNO, United Nations Organization, WHO, this kind of government published sources will be there. So that kind of comes under published sources, like official publications of central and state governments. You'll be having local bodies, semi-local bodies, municipal cooperation, like district boards, and you'll also have private publications related to the some companies like Google, Cognizant, and you'll be having some kind of institutions like CA, Chartered Accountant of India, like you'll be having annual reports of some companies, so research institutions. So these all comes under published sources, where they'll be publishing their particular institution or particular what we can say research bodies information they'll be publishing to the third party persons. Whereas coming to unpublished data means the data, some kind of data which will not be published. Like you can take some example of some statistical information of so and so company, like Wipro or Cognizant, whatever the company it may be. They'll not publish some kind of sensitive information, confidential information will be there. No, they'll not publish that information. That comes under unpublished data. So this includes some kind of research bodies, trade associations, etc. So it should be having some kind of such data will be kept confidentially. They will not reveal to the third persons. That is called as unpublished data. Published means the way they will be publishing, where they will be giving the information to the third parties or general public. Unpublished data means they will not give any kind of data. It will be kept confidentially. Is it clear? This is all about collection of data, that is methods of collecting data, primary and secondary. Hope you like the video. Thank you.